Well, it's the long journey to Ipswich Town for Newcastle United this weekend, and Newcastle supporters will be going in the mix with a lot of people going home for Christmas, so this trip could be very interesting indeed. Let's get underway. So we made it to Ipswich. In the first place we had to come to the Sir Bobby Robson statue. There's one outside Portman Road as well as St James's Park. Obviously a huge figure with both clubs. Won a lot of trophies with Ipswich Town. Really did put this football club on the map. I remember interviewing Sir Bobby and he spoke about Ipswich Town Football Club being the absolute heartbeat of this place, and it very much reminds me of Newcastle in terms of the passion of football. Obviously Newcastle, a bigger ground, a bigger club, but Ipswich really did punch above their weight when this man was in charge, and it's a great honour to stand here and take it in for a minute and just have a look at the history of Portman Road and what a huge game it is tomorrow. Newcastle United up against newly promoted Ipswich Town. Ipswich haven't won at home yet, so could be a tricky one for Newcastle. They'll have to have the A game on the table tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. So Newcastle United face Ipswich Town today, and it's impossible to escape the central figure around this game, Sir Bobby Robson. Everywhere you go, it's steeped with Sir Bobby Robson memorabilia around here, and Newcastle United fans absolutely love Sir Bobby Robson, and the feeling is very much the same in Ipswich. He's absolutely revered in these parts for what he achieved at that club, and at the end of the day, today's game he would have hoped would have been a fitting tribute to the style of football that he played. But Newcastle go into this game on the back of a good run, beating Brentford on Wednesday night, a big win against Leicester last week, and today they're going against the Ipswich side who haven't won a game here this season, so that is a potential danger for Newcastle. They don't want to be the first side to lose here in the Premier League to Ipswich this season, so a really tough one. Newcastle go into it with very few injuries, an opportunity to improve on last year's Christmas form, which was absolutely awful, losing 9 points, particularly that game against Luton before Christmas, losing 1-0. Newcastle need to avoid a performance like that today, but ultimately today will be about Bobby Robson for many people. Lots of fans already taking a good look around here to soak up the scenes. The Bobby Robson statue, the Bobby Robson stand, which I'm in front of now, and it promises to be a great occasion. Well, an absolutely fantastic display from Newcastle United, with one man in particular grabbing the headlines today, Alexander Isak, getting a hat-trick here at Portman Road. The first Newcastle player to get a hat-trick since Iosi Perez half a decade ago. But today, Isak was pretty much irresistible in front of goal. In fact, he probably could have had a couple more, to be totally honest, but you'll certainly take a hat-trick. Newcastle were at it from, you know, the first whistle, scoring after 25 seconds, and Isak and Jacob Murphy today were, you know, phenomenal in that first half. So many good performances, you can pick through them on the player ratings. But Newcastle have won here 4-0, continue their great form. Great way to start the festive period too, and they're back in a European place, which is an absolutely massive deal for Newcastle this season. So 4-0 winners here today. Newcastle fans still just trickling out of the stadium now. They've been singing their hearts out here with chants about Sir Bobby Robson, and, you know, Isak really lapping up the applause at the end there. Fantastic day for him. Also emulating Kevin Nolan, of course, who got a hat-trick here in the Championship. So a lot to reflect on. But Newcastle United fans in great form today, and so were the team here at Portman Road. So an unbelievable day for Newcastle United here at Ipswich. A 4-0 win, and not the first time Newcastle won 4-0 here. Kevin Nolan, of course, getting that hat-trick, as I mentioned earlier, in the Championship season. But look, Newcastle today, as I said, right from the word go, they were on top of Ipswich, and it was just a great performance to watch. I think Eddie Howe now, it's amazing to think only 2 weeks ago, that Brentford game where Newcastle was shambolic, they were all over the place in the second half. Everything was being questioned down at Brentford after that 4-2 defeat, and they had to respond, and in the last 3 games they really have. I mean, that 4-0 win over Leicester, while Leicester were poor in terms of quality, you can only beat what's put in front of you, which is what Newcastle United have done in the last 3 games really. Beating Leicester 4-0, getting through in the cup against Brentford to get that semi-final spot, which I said already is a season changer, and then, you know, winning comfortably here 4-0, so that's 11 goals suddenly in 3 games. Newcastle United looking very good indeed. So it's been a one to remember. Alexander Isak will get the headlines. Eddie Howe in his press conference just there, we watched him, he was getting quizzed about whether Newcastle could hold on to him. But, you know, while Newcastle are playing like this and the club's got the ambition that it's got, why would you want to go somewhere else at the end of the day? It's just about Newcastle getting the players around him now and making sure that he can maintain this type of form. He's 25 years old, and I think really this is a big opportunity for him to kick on. If he stayed here his whole career, who knows, he could be Alan Shearer's record. That would be very nice indeed, wouldn't it? But look, Newcastle have won here today 4-0. You have a little bit of a break now until Boxing Day in terms of games, but this will give them a lot of confidence. They've been lifted up to 7th place in the Premier League table. In terms of a European place, it's looking good again all of a sudden. Eddie Howe will be pleased with everything he's seen here today. But yeah, final word's got to go with Alexander Isak, hat-trick hero here today at Portman Road.